Most men chase. Stoic men attract. If you think charm is about words or looks, you're already losing. True attraction comes from control, purpose, and presence. Today I'll reveal the Stoic secrets that make women chase you. The power of non-neediness. There's a quiet strength in the man who doesn't beg for love, attention, or validation. In a world where so many men chase after women hoping to feel complete, the Stoic man walks the opposite path. Whole within, himself, sovereign over his own emotions and grounded in principle, not approval. The truth is, neediness repels. Why? Because it screams insecurity. It tells her, I can't live without you. But what she's truly drawn to is the man who could walk away if he had to, and still be at peace. That's power. That's what Stoics call self-sufficiency, being in command of your inner kingdom. Think of Marcus Aurelius, the most powerful man in the world at the time, yet he didn't use his status to chase people's favor. He didn't write in his meditations about craving applause or affection. Instead, he wrote about aligning with nature, doing his duty, and staying indifferent to praise or blame. He didn't chase validation, he became worthy of it. And ironically, this made him magnetic. The same applies in relationships. When a woman senses that your world doesn't collapse without her, that your mission, your values, and your inner peace come first, she feels something rare. She feels gravity, not the pull of desperation, but the force of a man rooted in purpose. When you stop chasing, you stop bleeding energy. You stop giving away your power. You become the mountain, solid, immovable, respected. And people, especially women, are drawn to that kind of energy. Not because you shouted, not because you pleaded, but because you stood still while the rest of the world begged for attention. This is your masculine edge. The power of non-neediness isn't about arrogance or detachment. It's about inner fullness. You don't need her to complete you. You want her, but on your terms. And that difference, that's what separates the boy who chases from the man who attracts. Control your emotions. Emotional control is the ultimate display of inner strength. In a world that constantly tries to provoke you through disrespect, chaos, or rejection, the man who remains calm is the man who holds power. Reacting instantly, getting triggered, or needing to prove yourself, these are signs of emotional immaturity. A Stoic man doesn't get pulled by every wave. He stands like a mountain while the storm rages around him. Why? Because he understands this truth. A man who can't control his emotions is a slave to everyone who can manipulate them. Take jealousy, for example. A woman talks to another man, you feel the burn. You want to confront her, lash out, make a scene. But that's not power. That's weakness disguised as passion. The Stoic man does the opposite. He breathes, he pauses, he watches. If her loyalty is in question, he doesn't beg, he lets go. Because true masculine energy doesn't cling, it chooses. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Emotional stillness isn't repression, it's mastery. And in today's world, that kind of control is magnetic. When you don't react impulsively, people notice. You become mysterious, composed, and deeply attractive, not just to women, but to anyone who values leadership and strength. Think about it. Who would you follow? The man who erupts when things go wrong, or the man who remains calm and steady no matter what? Emotional stillness is a silent flex. It says, I'm not afraid. I'm not needy. I choose how I respond. In that moment, you stop being a boy chasing validation and start becoming a man who leads himself. and others through fire without blinking. Purpose over pleasure. Let's get one thing clear. When you chase pleasure, you lose direction. When you chase purpose, everything else aligns. The man who is constantly seeking validation, chasing women, and addicted to short-term highs is like a ship with no compass, swaying with every wave, never reaching land. Pleasure might feel good in the moment, but it leaves you empty. Purpose, on the other hand, grounds you. It gives your life weight, direction, and meaning. And here's the paradox. When you stop chasing women and start chasing purpose, women start chasing you. Not because you're playing games, but because your soul begins to radiate the rare fire of a man who knows exactly where he's going. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "A man's worth is no greater than the worth of his ambitions." Think about that. What are your ambitions? Are they rooted in the fleeting rush of attention, or in the eternal pursuit of becoming a man of virtue, discipline, and depth? The truth is, when you make your mission your priority, whether it's mastering a craft, building a legacy, or becoming mentally unshakable, you project strength. Women don't truly admire the man who's always available, always trying to please. They admire the man who walks away from comfort, who says no to distraction, and who chooses the harder path, because that's where his destiny lives. Here's a gut check tip. Every time you choose your path over a quick fix, whether it's a text you don't answer, a night out you skip, or a temptation you deny, you silently reinforce your worth. You become a man that others respect, and more importantly, a man who respects himself. Your value doesn't come from attention. It comes from direction. Stay on your mission, and let the world adjust to your gravity. The silent strategy. In a world where everyone's shouting for attention, the man who holds his tongue becomes the most powerful voice in the room. Stoicism teaches us that restraint is not weakness, it's strength under control. When you're silent, you're not empty. You're full of intention. You're choosing to listen, to observe, and to calculate. Epictetus once said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." The Stoic man doesn't seek to impress with noise. He masters the art of holding back, knowing that silence creates space for clarity, for strength, and for strategy. Think about the last time someone pushed your buttons. Maybe a colleague insulted your work, or your partner tried to provoke a reaction. Most men snap, fire back, or over-explain to prove themselves. But the Stoic man, he doesn't flinch. He stays calm, controlled, silent. And in that silence, he robs his opponent of power. He doesn't chase validation or waste his breath on the unworthy. Instead, his actions, his consistency, his discipline, his results do the talking. That's what makes people lean in. That's what builds intrigue. Mystery doesn't mean you're hiding something. It means you're building value through presence, not performance. Silence is a weapon. A calm, calculated weapon that commands attention and demands respect. You don't owe anyone your explanations. You don't need to broadcast your every move. Let them wonder. Let them feel the tension of not knowing what you'll do next. That tension, it's magnetic. That mystery, it's power. And when you move like a storm, quiet before the thunder, precise in the strike. That's the Stoic way. High standards and boundaries. A Stoic man knows that standards are not meant to be bent to fit someone else's comfort. They are the armor of self-respect. Lower them, and you compromise not just what you believe in, but who you are. In the pursuit of connection, many men fall into the trap of people-pleasing, thinking that by being agreeable or easygoing, they'll win a woman's heart. But the harsh truth? You don't win a woman's respect by saying yes to everything. You win it by standing firm on your no. A man who draws a line and refuses to step over it, even if it costs him her attention, becomes the kind of man who commands not just interest, but deep admiration. Picture this. You're dating someone who constantly pushes your boundaries, flirting with other guys in front of you, disrespecting your time, making you feel like an option rather than a priority. You want to speak up, but fear tells you to stay silent. Fear says, if I speak, I might lose her. But Stoicism teaches us something far more powerful. As Epictetus said, how long are you going to wait before you demand the best for yourself? A Stoic man speaks with quiet strength. He doesn't yell. He doesn't chase. He simply walks. And that silence, backed by unshakable standards, speaks volumes. It tells the world and her, I will not beg to be respected. The paradox? The moment you become willing to walk away is the moment she starts chasing. Why? Because women, deep down, crave strength. Not control, not manipulation, but inner strength. When you enforce your boundaries, you show her you don't need her to complete you. You're already whole. And that energy, that calm, grounded confidence is magnetic. You stop being the man who seeks approval and become the man who earns respect. Not through words, but through unshakable self-worth. Conclusion. You don't need lines, tricks, or games. You need discipline, self-respect, and a mission. When you embody these Stoic traits, she won't just notice you, she'll be drawn to you. If you're ready to become the kind of man she can't ignore, subscribe now. More Stoic wisdom drops every week.